Hello, my lovelies. It is time for another round of Have I Read It? So stay tuned. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. Have I Read It is one of my multiple TBR games that I play in order to help pick my TBR for the upcoming month. And the way this one works is you get to help pick my TBR. So I react to a haul from over 3 years ago. I think at this point it's over 4 years ago. And I tell you from that haul if I've read the book, if I haven't read the book, or if I've unhauled the book. And out of all the books that I still own that I have not read, you get to vote on which book or books you want me to read in the upcoming month. And based on how many books I still own and have not read from that haul will determine how many I have to pick in the end. So if I have 1 through 9 that I haven't read, I'll pick the number 1 voted book. If I have 10 through 19, the top 2, and so on and so on. So today we're going to be reacting to my book outlet haul for March 2021. So I have my video pulled up. I've got my earbuds in. Let's get started. Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome to my channel. Today I have a book outlet haul for you, so stay tuned. So I might have ordered 3 boxes of books from Book Outlet. I have them all here to show you and I cannot wait to dig in. Alright, so let's get started with this first box. Got my little packing slip on top. Okay, then we've got paper. And I'm excited for everything in here. So I actually went through my wish list and was like looking for the things that were on my wish list already, like my Amazon wish list, and looking on Book Outlet to see if I could find any of these on Book Outlet. And so most of these things that I ordered were things that were on my book or were on my Amazon wish list, but I was able to find there. So the first one I have here is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I do still own this one and I have not read it. I've meant to, but I haven't read it. Okay, so this says, everyone in Fairview knows the story. Pretty unpopular high school senior Andy Bell was murdered by her boyfriend, Sal Singe, who was then killed himself. It was all anyone could talk about, and 5 years later, Pip sees how the tragedy still haunts her town. But she can't shake the feeling that there was more to what happened that day. She knew Sal when she was a child, and he was always so kind to her. How could he possibly have been a killer? Now a senior herself, Pip decides to re-examine the closed case for her final project. At first, just to cast doubt on the original investigation, but soon she discovers a trail of dark secrets that might actually prove Sal innocent, and the line between past and present begins to blur. Someone in Fairview doesn't want Pip digging around for answers, and now her own life might be in danger. So if you want me to read this, vote A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I always hate when I start out with not having read the book. It always feels so much better when at least the first book is one that I've read, but continuing on. Okay, next up we have The Switch by Beth O'Leary. I feel like I have read The Switch. Let me check. I guess I haven't, but I do still own it. This says, Elaine, newly single and about to turn 80, would like a second chance at love, but her tiny Yorkshire village doesn't offer many eligible gentlemen. Then in bustling London, Elaine's 20-something, overachieving granddaughter, Lena, is ordered to take a 2-month sabbatical after blowing a big presentation at work. Once Lena learns of Elaine's romantic predicament, she proposes a solution, a 2-month swap. Elaine will live in London and look for love. Meanwhile, Lena will rest and take care of things in rural Yorkshire. But trading places isn't as easy as either of them expected. Will swapping lives help Elaine and Lena find themselves and maybe even find love? So if you want me to read this, vote The Switch. All right, next up. Okay, next up. Oh, this is an interesting shape. I wasn't expecting it like this. This is Paperback Crush by Gabrielle Moss. The totally radical history of 80s and 90s teen fiction. I do still own this and I have not read it. Yikes. Okay, this says, a hilarious and nostalgic trip through the history of paperback preteen series of the 80s and 90s. Every 20 or 30 something woman knows these books. The pink covers, the flimsy paper, the zillion volumes in the series that kept you reading for your entire adolescence. Spurred by the commercial success of Sweet Valley High and the Babysitter's Club, these were not the serious issue YA novels of the 1970s, nor were they the blockbuster books of the Harry Potter and Twilight ilk. They were cheap, short, and utterly beloved. Paperback Crush dives in deep to this golden age with affection, history, and a little bit of snark. Readers will discover and fondly remember girl-centric series on everything from correspondence, pen pals, and Dear Diary, to sports, the Pink Parrots, cheerleaders, and the gymnasts, to newspaper at an all-girls Orthodox Jewish middle school, the BY Times, to a literal teen angels, heaven can wait, where an enterprising guardian angel named Cisco has to earn her wings by helping the world's sexiest rock star. Some were blatant rip-offs of the successful series Looking at You, Sleepover Friends, and The Girls of Canby Hall. Some were sick-lit tearjerkers, a la Love Story, Abby My Love, and some are just plain perplexing, Uncle Vampire. But all of them represent that time gone by of girl power and endless sessions of sustained silent reading. In 6 hilarious chapters, friendship, love, school, family, jobs, terror, and tragedy, Bustle Features editor Gabrielle Moss takes the reader on a nostalgic tour of teen book covers of yore, digging deep into the history of the genre as well as the stories behind the best-known series. And I was, and I'm still very interested in reading this. It's on my nonfiction shelf because these were the books that I read, especially like Sweet Valley High and the Babysitter's Club. So if you want me to read this, vote Paperback Crush. All right, next up. Next up, we have Secret Santa, The Gift That Keeps On Giving by Andrew Schaefer. And this is like a horror Christmassy story. I feel like I unhauled Secret Santa, but let me double check. Yes, I did unhaul that one. All right. Next up. Then we have The Wizards of Once Knock 3 Times by Cressida Cowell. I don't think I've read that one. Let me check. No, but I have not read the second book in the series either, which I also own, which I believe is actually on my These Books Will Self-Destruct shelf. Okay, so let me tell you about book 1. So book 1 is just called The Wizards of Once. This is the story of a young boy wizard and a young girl warrior who have been taught to hate each other like poison, and the thrilling tale of what happens when their two worlds collide. Perfect for boys and girls who love fantasy adventure. Once there was magic, and the magic lived in the dark forest. Wizard boy Czar should have come into his magic by now, but he hasn't. So he wants to find a witch and steal its magic for himself. But if he's got any chance of finding one, he'll have to travel into the forbidden Badwoods. Czar doesn't realize he's about to capture an entirely different kind of enemy, a warrior girl called Wish. And inside this book, at this very moment, two worlds collide and the fate of the land is changed forever. Czar and Wish must visit the dungeons at Warrior Fort and face the evil queen, but something that has been sleeping for hundreds of years is stirring. So if you want me to read this, you can just vote like the name of the series, The Wizards of Once, and I'll read the second book in the series. I feel like I haven't read any of them yet. I'm pretty sure I haven't. All right, next up. All right, and then the last book in this particular box, we have One by One by Ruth Ware. I'm not sure. I feel like maybe I've read this one, but I'm not sure. No, it looks like I have not read it, and I do still own it. Surprise. This says, getting snowed in at a beautiful rustic mountain chalet doesn't sound like the worst problem in the world, especially when there's a breathtaking vista, a cozy fire, and company to keep you warm. But what happens when the company is 8 of your coworkers and you can't trust any of them? When an off-site company retreat meant to promote mindfulness and collaboration goes utterly wrong, when an avalanche hits, the corporate food chain becomes irrelevant and survival trumps togetherness. Come Monday morning, how many members short will the team be? The #1 New York Times bestselling author of The Turn of the Key and In a Dark, Dark Wood returns with another suspenseful thriller set on a snow-covered mountain. So if you want me to read this, vote 1 by 1. This is not going well at all. I think that first box I had 0 that I actually read, if I'm remembering correctly. All right, so let's see what's in box number 2. Okay, we've got paper and some more books that were on my wish list. So the first one I have here is Lakewood by Megan Giddings. I feel like I still own this and haven't read it. Let me check. No, actually I unhauled that one. Okay, next up. Okay, next up we have The Adventurer's Son by Roman Dial. I do still own this one and have not read it. The nonfiction ones are a little bit easier to know if I have them and if I've read them or not, because I don't have a huge amount and they're in like a separate place from the rest, which I see often. So that's how I can know without looking on these. Okay, this says, I'm planning on doing 4 days in the jungle. It should be difficult to get lost forever. These are the haunting last words legendary adventurer Roman Dial received from his son before the 27-year-old disappeared into the jungles of Costa Rica. This is Dial's intensely gripping and deeply moving account of his 2-year quest to unravel the mystery of his son's fate. In the pre-dawn hours of July 10, 2014, 27-year-old Cody Roman Dial, the son of preeminent Alaskan scientist and National Geographic explorer Roman Dial, walked alone into Corcovado National Park, an untracked rainforest along Costa Rica's remote Pacific coast that shelters miners, poachers, and drug smugglers. He carried a light backpack and a machete. Before he left, he emailed his father, I'm not sure how long it will take me, but I'm planning on doing 4 days in the jungle and a day to walk out. I'll be bounded by a trail to the west and the coast everywhere else, so it should be difficult to get lost forever. They were the last words Dial received from his son. The Adventurer's Son recreates the author's 2-year quest to learn the truth about his child's disappearance. Immediately after Cody Roman's planned departure date passed without a word from him, Dial set off for Costa Rica. As he trekked through the dense jungle, interviewing locals and searching for clues, the authorities suspected murder. The desperate father was forced to confront the deepest questions about his own life. Roman had raised his son to be fearless, to seek out adventure amid Earth's wildest places. Was he ultimately responsible for his son's fate? A harrowing story of drama, adventure, and a father's love for his son. Set in the most beautiful and dangerous reaches of the planet, The Adventurer's Son is a mystery, the memoir of a father and his son, and an unforgettable story of love and profound loss. And The Adventurer's Son includes 25 color photographs. So if you want me to read this, vote The Adventurer's Son. All right, next up. The next 2 books are actually part of a series or duology. I'll have to look. But we have Small Spaces by Catherine Arden and Dead Voices. I'm not sure if I've read these or not. Let me check. Okay, so I own them both and I have not read either of them. So the first book is Small Spaces. So that's what you'll vote for. Though I will count it as 2 unread. So this says, New York Times bestselling author of The Bear and the Nightingale makes her middle grade debut with a creepy, spellbinding ghost story destined to become a classic. After suffering a tragic loss, 11-year-old Ollie only finds solace in books. So when she happens upon a crazed woman at the river threatening to throw a book into the water, Ollie doesn't think, she just acts, stealing the book and running away. As she begins to read the slender volume, Ollie discovers a chilling story about a girl named Beth, the 2 brothers who both loved her, and a peculiar deal made with a smiling man, a sinister specter who grants her most tightly held wish, but only for the ultimate price. Ollie is captivated by the tale until her school trip the next day to Smoke Hollow, a local farm with a haunting history all its own. There she stumbles upon the graves of the very people she's been reading about. Could it be the story about the smiling man is true? Ollie doesn't have too long to think about the answer to that. On the way home, the school bus breaks down, sending their teacher back to the farm for help, but the strange bus driver has some advice for the kids left behind in his care. Best get moving. At nightfall, they'll come for the rest of you. Nightfall is indeed fast descending when Ollie's previously broken digital wristwatch, a keepsake reminder of better times, begins a startling countdown and delivers a terrifying message. Run. Only Ollie and two of her classmates heed the bus driver's warning. As the trio head out into the woods bordered by a field of scarecrows that seem to be watching them, the bus driver has just one final piece of advice for Ollie and her friends. Avoid large spaces, keep to small. And with that, a deliciously creepy and hair-raising adventure begins. So if you want me to read this, vote small spaces. All right, next up. And then the last book in this box, we have Little Universes by Heather Demetrios. Okay, I have not read this, but I don't know if I still own it or not. I do still own it. Have not read it. This says, one wave. That's all it takes for the rest of May's and Hannah Winter's lives to change. When a tsunami strikes the island where their parents are vacationing, it soon becomes clear that their mom and dad are never coming home. Forced to move to Boston from sunny California for the rest of their senior year, each girl struggles with secrets their parents' death has brought to light. And with their uncertainty about the future, instead of bringing them closer, it feels like the wave has torn the sisters apart. Hannah is a secret poet who wants to be seen but only knows how to hide. The pain pill she stole from her dead father hurl her onto the shores of an addiction she can't shake, and a dealer who turns her heart upside down. When it's clear Hannah's drowning, May, a budding astronaut suddenly launched into an existential crisis and unexpected love, must choose between herself and the only family she has left. So if you want me to read this, vote Little Universes. All right, next up. That's the last thing in that box, so we still have one box left to go. Okay, we've got paper, and books. Okay, so this first book, I really thought I already owned this book, but I couldn't find it anywhere. So when I saw it on Book Outlet, I was like, you know what, I'll go ahead and get it. Even if I already have it, it's not super expensive off of Book Outlet. So that is Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow. Let me see, because I'm not sure if I've read it or not. Okay, I do still own it and have not read it. This says, an East Asian fantasy reimagining of the evil queen legend about one peasant girl's quest to become empress and the darkness she must unleash to achieve her destiny. 18-year-old Zaifeng is beautiful. The stars say she's destined for greatness, that she is meant to be empress of Fenglu, but only if she embraces the darkness within her. Growing up as a peasant in a forgotten village on the edge of the map, Zaifeng longs to fulfill the destiny promised to her by her cruel aunt, the witch Guma, who has read the cards and seen glimmers of Zaifeng's majestic future. But is the price of the throne too high? Because in order to achieve greatness, she must spurn the young man who loves her and exploit the callous magic that runs through her veins. Sorcery fueled by eating the hearts of the recently killed. For the god who has sent her on this journey will not be satisfied until his power is absolute. So if you want me to read this, vote Forest of a Thousand Lanterns. With that book, it put me at 10, which means I'm going to have to pick at least the top 2 from this video as well. Yay. Because I know my last one, I had to pick the top 2 as well. All right, next up. Next up we have Starite by Brandon Sanderson. This is the sequel to Skyward. I feel like I have read Starite. I think that might be the last one I read of that series. Okay, so I don't have it marked as read. I really thought that I did read it. Maybe I just never put it into Goodreads that I read it. But since I'm not 100% sure, I'm going to add it to the unread list. But let me tell you about Skyward, which is book number 1. I do remember Skyward pretty well, so I don't think I would need to reread that. Anyway, this says, defeated, crushed, and driven almost to extinction, the remnants of the human race are trapped on a planet that is constantly attacked by the mysterious alien starfighters. Spensa, a teenage girl living among them, longs to be a pilot. When she discovers the wreckage of an ancient ship, she realizes this dream might be possible, assuming she can repair the ship, navigate flight school, and perhaps, most importantly, persuade the strange machine to help her, because this ship uniquely appears to have a soul. And I remember loving the ship. The ship being, I think, one of my favorite characters. So if you want me to continue with this, vote for Starite. All right, next up. All right, next up we have The Guest List by Lucy Foley, and this was a Reese's book club pick. It says you'd kill to be on it. I feel like I still own this and haven't read it. That is correct. This says, it's the wedding of the year, but someone won't survive it. On a remote island off the coast of Ireland, guests gather to celebrate the wedding of Jules Keegan and Will Slater. Will is a rising television star, handsome and charming. Jules is a smart, ambitious magazine publisher. Though the sea is a little choppy and the cell service spotty, their wedding is everything you'd expect. A young power couple. Designer dress, 4-tiered cake, boutique whiskey, vintage champagne. Every detail has been curated to perfection. All that's left to orchestrate is the happiness. But perfection is for plans, and people are all too human. It's not long after the cake is cut and the champagne pop that resentments and petty jealousies come out. Worse yet, the latest barometer reading shows the weather has shifted from fair to changeable, and dark clouds are looming overhead. Everyone on the island has a secret, everyone has a motive, and someone won't leave this wedding alive. So if you want me to read this, vote The Guest List. Hopefully there are not too many more books in this last box. I don't know though. All right, next up. Okay, so next up we have Love and Luck by Jenna Evans Welch. I don't know if I've read this one. It's part of a series that I've read part of the series. Oh, I have read that one. Okay, good. And I do still own it. Yay. I can't remember. That might be the first one in this whole video that I've read. I could be wrong though. All right, next. Okay, next up we have Faith Taking Flight by Julie Murphy. I can't remember. I did read it and I do still own it. All right. All right, next up. Okay, only 2 books remaining. Okay, first up we have Ghoul Struck Island by Frances Hardinge. I have not read this. Let me see if I still have it. I do still own it. This says, discover the secrets of Ghoul Struck Island in this lush fantasy from award-winning author Frances Hardinge. On Ghoul Struck Island, legend has it that the volcanoes are not just active but alive. Anger them and pay the price. Keep them happy and enjoy their protection. These legends become the guiding force for quiet, near-invisible Hathin when she strikes out on a quest to save the island. Hathin's sister, Aralu, is believed to be a lost. The lost are held sacred on Ghoulstruck, for they can send their senses away from their bodies. If she is a lost, Aralu can read a message across the island. She can hear whispers in the corners of private rooms. She can smell a storm brewing miles away, all from her beachside hut. But the question is Aralu really a lost? When all the lost drop dead except Aralu, she and Hathin are swept into a grand conspiracy that leads them on the most sinister depths and heights of the island. So if you want me to read this, vote Ghoulstruck Island. All right, next up. Okay, last book. We have The Family Upstairs by Lisa Joel. I do still own this, and I have not read it. It's right there on my shelves. I think that's the first book in that series, but let me check. It is. Okay, this says, soon after her 25th birthday, Libby Jones returns home from work to find the letter she's been waiting for her entire life. She rips it open with one driving thought. I'm finally going to know who I am. She soon learns not only the identity of her birth parents, but also that she is the sole inheritor of their abandoned mansion on the banks of the Thames in London's fashionable Chelsea neighborhood, worth millions. Everything in Libby's life is about to change, but what she can't possibly know is that others have been waiting for this day as well, and she is on a collision course to meet them. 25 years ago, police were called to 16 Cheyenne Walk with reports of a baby crying. When they arrived, they found a healthy 10-month-old happily cooing in her crib in the bedroom. Downstairs in the kitchen lay 3 dead bodies, all dressed in black, next to a hastily scrawled note, and the 4 other children reported to live in Cheyenne Walk were gone. The can't look away story of 3 entangled families living in a house with the darkest of secrets. So if you want me to read this, vote The Family Upstairs. Okay, if I kept track of everything properly, it looks like there are 14 books that you could possibly vote for, which means I will have to pick the number or the top 2 voted books. So here are the things that you can vote for: A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, The Switch, Paperback Crush, The Wizards of Once, One by One, The Adventurer's Son, Small Spaces, Little Universes, Forest of a Thousand Lanterns, Starsight, The Guest List, Gullstruck Island, and The Family Upstairs. So comment down below which book or books you would like for me to read in the upcoming month. And like I said, I'll pick the top 2 voted books. So that means from last Have I Read It and this Have I Read It, I'm going to have 4 books added to my TBR. Yay. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, always remember to be completely you. Bye.